Well, good morning, my Teaser King family. How is everybody today? I hope you are well. I'm fine. I keep looking for the bricks we've launched. I think it's called the unit, the gold backed currency. Haven't seen it yet. They're planning on it, but haven't seen it yet. I have looked at. Um, they did like a debit card, some getting away from the Swift system where they've went to sort of like PayPal for the BRICS countries. So that's kind of what they're doing. Let's see. So where is our gold price? Gold's been nice and healthy. Let's see. The 10 o'clock drop. Well, we always get that. 27.17. I don't know what the U.S. is thinking. They did a 8 o'clock drop and a 10 o'clock drop. It was 27.57. And now it's 27.18, and silver's down to 33.64. It was 34. Yeah, it was 34.70, and then now it's 33.64. I thought we had gotten away once it rose back 32.75. It was going up. Nothing can stop it, apparently. Yeah, the new derivatives put out there. So 33.62. And then gold at 27.18. We'll still get to 3,000. I'm not worried about that. So again, looking at bricks, I'm not really seeing much there. Saying I believe they will go to the gold backed currency. I just don't know why we're not. Maybe they do it tomorrow. It's a 3-day summit. Anyway, I keep talking to Dario. When are we meeting? When we're meeting? I hope the election. It's like, no, I haven't heard from my mom to watch our daughter, and I haven't heard. I'm hoping the election ends. So if the war doesn't end, we're not going to meet, I guess. So I guess everything comes to a head after the election. I think she's just scared to go out of with the war. She's scared to go out, which makes sense, but we'll have to see what to do. All right. Let's look at, let's see, today's Wednesday. Let's look at college. So what happened yesterday? And I finally got the injuries on covers for college. Finally came back. So that's a good sign. Just like Brady Cook of Missouri, he did play last week. They got him injured with an ankle, and he was out part of the game, but he came back in. So I don't know. I can't imagine he doesn't play against Alabama. All right, so yesterday, Sam Houston 10-7 over Florida International. I like Sam Houston. I didn't play it. And then L Tech wins 14-10. I had L Tech, didn't play them. UTEP was a Z team, but L Tep's an under team. They barely beat them. Hey, G. Yeah, I know I won you some money. Yeah, well, you're welcome. I thought of you when Baltimore won on Monday. I said, I know you had to win because all 4 locks won. Cincinnati won. Kansas City, Mahomes as the dog won. I says there's no curse anymore. We've broken the curse. So I was real happy for you. I knew you had some good money on it, and that's great. So yeah, it's rare that all 4 locks win, but I had a good feeling on that. I knew Baltimore once we got to Baltimore, I wasn't worried they were going to kill. And I didn't realize all the Tampa receivers got hurt. The Niner receivers got hurt. It's like these injuries and everything. But anyway, I'm happy for you, G, and I'm hunting for more games this week. I watch a lot of the highlights. So I was just watching Missouri against Auburn. Like, do I want to bet Alabama over Missouri? Missouri looks terrible. They're okay, but they're not. They're not like last year. Brady Cook looks okay at points, but where is he? So I don't know what to do with him at this point. But anyway, so today there's two games. And again, we've got Liberty laying 25 and 45 and a half. Well, let's put in, let's go to covers for this. Covers I like better because there's four sites to look at. So we got Liberty 25 and a half, 47. And we've got Jacksonville State 20 and a half and 63 to Middle Tennessee. So both of the Z teams here, Liberty's an A team, 21 defense, 400 yards a game. Kennesaw State's a Z team, 32 defense, 225. And the same thing in Jacksonville State's an over team with a 31 defense. Middle Tennessee's a Z team with the 35 defense. So you got big numbers going against the Z team. What do you want to do with it? So you could play them. I mean, that's how I would play it tonight if I play it, is Liberty and Jacksonville State, because they're the strong teams against the Z team. But you can see yesterday, UTEP's a Z team, and LTEC only beat them 14-10. Not that LTEC's all that great. And even Sam Houston, I was surprised. Florida International with 29 defense, they beat them 10-7. This is the problem I have with these during the week games. These teams they don't play Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's a whole new experience for them. This is why I don't like the London games. This is why, or the Germany game. This is why I don't like this game. Basically, I just don't like to play these type of games. Plus, it's Conference USA, and the teams suck anyway. Liberty's not been blowing anybody out. Jacksonville State kind of does, but I probably will pass on these two. I don't know. I might post them, but that's what we got. All right, so let's get into tomorrow's games. Old D 254.5, and Pitt 5.5, 62.5. To Syracuse was 6 and 63. Those are tomorrow night's games, and then the pros tomorrow is Minnesota at the Rams, and again, Minnesota with the big game on Sunday with the Lions. Now, after just a few days rest, travel to LA, which isn't bad for Minnesota. It's not as bad as if it's coming from Detroit, although they do have to go north to south. And they're the better team, the Rams. I think Cooper Kupp's back this week. They're trying to move them, but I don't know. I hate all these little ads and shit on the phone. Where's my ginger in my water? Must have the wrong cup. And maybe it's in the fridge. Just a second. All right. I had to put some ginger in my water. Yeah, so Minnie goes to the Rams tomorrow. So we will get into that when we get into the pros. Louisville, BC, we've got what's good is now I can check for my injuries, which I couldn't before, like Syracuse Pitt. Is there an injury I got to worry about? But they're updated to the 22nd through yesterday. Pitt. Okay, so I got pretty good injury detail. All right, Louisville, BC. Louisville 753.5 to BC. Louisville's the 18. BC's okay this year. They're better, but not great. Hey, Alex. Yeah, I know. I thought that was out yesterday. And then Cooper Kupp's, they're trying to trade him. Stafford, they're trying to trade. I don't know if they will. And then we'll see. I got my injuries back on covers. It updated yesterday for some reason. Brown starting Winston. Well, he sucks. What's the point of Thompson Robinson then? And the weird part is they think Winston's worse than Watson. And he looks pretty bad. I don't know why they're not starting Thompson Robinson. You're 1-6. He's your draft pick. Winston has already proven he sucks. I don't get when these guys they suck, but he's got experience. Yeah, but he sucks. Well, yeah, but he's done Excel before, but he can't add anything in Excel, but he's got Excel experience and he's a real idiot with it. Anyway, it's just crazy. But yeah, well, Daniels has a rib, but I think he's okay, but he's listed as questionable. I love it because the Bears are a 1.5 point favorite. And if I got a healthy Daniels, there you go. Katie bar the door on that one because there's no way in hell Kayla's better than Daniels. That's not even close. There's another one. UCF style favorite over BYU, which is a huge mistake. And there was a couple other ones that I'm seeing like the wrong spread. I'm like, I got the dog that I want finally. Here it is. Boise 3.5, 65 to Vegas. From 66. We know what they got. Gentry against Vegas, so it should be, there should be points in this game. I think of the Oregon game, 37-34. I think this will be kind of similar to that. USC 14, 56.5 to Rutgers. I mean, I don't know. USC's so bad. They couldn't beat Maryland with a 14-point lead. They lose it. Rutgers is, I don't know. I thought they were good. They're not good. They get blown out by Wisconsin. I mean, I don't know. VTech, GTech. No, I look for Kings. He's listed as, I think, out or doubtful with a oblique or something. So he's probably not playing. This oblique, I'm seeing a lot of oblique injuries. I don't know if they're real or fake, but a lot of that. VTech is 10 and 52 to GTech. VTech's good. GTech, we don't know how good the backup quarterback is. He looked pretty good a little bit against Notre Dame. He got a late touchdown. I don't think he's going to kill him. He's no king, but I think he's pretty good. So I think that's okay. Thompson Robinson got hurt too. Everybody gets hurt because this is the part they don't get with the running quarterbacks. So they want to use this whole theory of, well, this way we'll have 10 guys blocking 11. The quarterback has to make the guy miss. but with the quarterback running, he gets hurt. There's no backup. You can't run your quarterback for fear of getting injured and then having no backup, which is also not safe. So that's why we need a running quarterback, but Richardson's always hurt, Lamar's always hurt, all these guys. Deshaun Watson's hurt, Thompson Robinson's hurt. Dak broke his ankle. I mean, you've got to be kidding. Even Daniels got hurt running, hurt his ribs running the ball early in the game. Mariota, maybe they just have a really good offensive coordinator for Mariota to light up Carolina. But Carolina's the worst defense in the league. Carolina's our team that couldn't win an SEC game this year. So we'll see, but I think Kings is out. Makes this game interesting. You don't know what to do with it because we don't know how good the backup is. Virginia, 459 to North Carolina. North Carolina seems to have an over team, no defense, and pretty good offense. Ohio, 644.5 to Buffalo. That line hasn't moved. They're both under teams. Interesting game here. Tulane, 7.5, 66 to North Texas. If I can find them. Okay. We know North Texas, explosive as hell, no defense. Tulane, a pretty good team with a 20 defense. We'll see what happens. I still think North Texas, they were able to play Memphis pretty good, who has a similar defense to Tulane. So I wouldn't think North Texas is going to have too much trouble scoring on Tulane. Oklahoma put up 39 on them. How good can their defense be? Again, you've got to tweak out the high school games. They win 66-0 over a high school team. You can't put the 0 into the formula and say, well, divide by 7 and it's 20 when it's, well, divide by 6 and it's 35. So you got to be careful when we're looking at stats like this to get the right stats to weed it out. Notre Dame 13, 52.5 to my Navy team. I keep thinking Navy can get the W here. They did kill Memphis. Otherwise, they played not too strong of teams. Notre Dame beat A&M, lost to Northern Illinois, which, who knows? And then Stanford sucks. Navy's going to come to play, and Navy's a really good team this year. I think it's a bit high. It's the Notre Dame. I'm going to bet Notre Dame. I don't care who they're playing or what the spread is. They can be laying 12 to Alabama. I'm going to take Notre Dame. So that's a lot what you get in college. The people went to Notre Dame are going to bet them, and Alabama and Ohio State and Georgia. And nobody went to the Navy. So that spread's, I think, too high. Ohio State, 25.5, 48 to Nebraska. Where did they go? Okay, 25-48. Remember, they're off the loss to Oregon still. They didn't play last week. I think this is going to be like the Iowa and Michigan State game, 38-7. It could be more. Nebraska just showed you, our defense probably isn't that good against a real good team like Indiana. How they beat Colorado like they did. Well, Colorado is just a passing team. Indiana is a complete team, and they will be in the playoff. The quarterback hurt his thumb. He's out 2 weeks. He got surgery. But it must be minor surgery. And, they'll probably miss him this week. Indiana's got Washington, which the backup's not bad. This coach is so good. I'm sure the backup is fully capable of running the offense. Look for Ohio State off of the loss to put it on Nebraska. I'm close to making it our free play. I think I have a better one now. Oklahoma, Ole Miss. Oklahoma, they fired their offensive coordinator. They should have fired the coach. They should never have hired the coach. He's never coached before. A good defensive coordinator. So this is the problem. He's a defensive coordinator. Oklahoma's defense, not bad. You just lost to South Carolina 35-7. Are you fucking kidding me? And you fire the offensive coordinator and you keep the coach? Oh my God. Ole Miss 20 and call it 49 to Oklahoma. I mean, I think they're going to kill him. I don't think the problem was not the offensive coordinator. It's the quarterbacks, these young dual running quarterbacks. It doesn't work in the SEC. Even Milrose, he's lost 2 games, and he's a much better runner than anybody that Oklahoma has. Ole Miss, I'm a little worried about. Are they really this strong? They've lost 2 games now too, I believe. So I'm not buying Ole Miss, and Oklahoma. I'm not. I tend to think it'll be like the Tennessee game. 25-15. Jackson Dart, I don't like. He's a kind of a runner, but I look for Oklahoma to do what they did against Tennessee. So I think it'll be a lower scoring game here. Tempted to give that out as the under, as the free play also, but not yet. Too much food on the menu to start eating yet. Memphis, 18.5, 57. Charlotte's a W. Memphis is an A. 20 defense. Charlotte with the 34. Charlotte's pretty bad. They have won a few games this year. That's why they're not a Z team. But 34 defense goes against Memphis offense. Yeah. Look for Memphis. Here's the game. Indiana 6.5, 53.5 against Washington. Washington with the 17 defense, yeah. And then Indy with the 14 defense, yes, we believe that. We don't believe Washington. All I'm seeing is all these West Coast teams, except for Oregon, come east and get beat. USC 3 times, Washington. It's too much. They're not doing it right. You can't travel. They're probably flying Friday night, and they're exhausted Saturday. You've got to fly like Wednesday night. You cannot fly Friday night for a Saturday game from West Coast. No, I've done it, believe me. And I'm not playing football, and I'm exhausted. When I fly to Vegas on a Saturday morning, I need a 3-hour nap in Vegas. I'm not. By the time, if I go right to Caesars because the games are starting at 10 and I get there at 8:30, believe me, I'm sleeping watching the games. I'm exhausted. You cannot just play, and I think they don't understand you got to travel 2 or 3 days early. You can't fly out Friday night for a Saturday game going from Washington to Indiana or Rutgers or Ohio State or any of these. So I think Indiana still wins, but what would have been a lock if my quarterback's playing is it even adjusted for the new quarterback? I don't know. Arkansas and Mississippi State. Arkansas 6.5, 58. Mississippi State's becoming an over team. They put up 30 on, I think it was Georgia, 31. Arkansas, I don't like their quarterback. He's really a bad thrower. He's one of these. He's a good runner, but he couldn't hit a guy 10 yards away. Tough over under 58. Arkansas at the 21. It's really hard to pinpoint it. App State 7.5, 63 to Georgia State. App State's an over team. Joey Aguilar, good quarterback, no defense. Georgia State's a W, 30 defense. Probably gets over if Georgia State can give us 30 points. We'll see. Miami of Ohio, 12.5, 47 to Central Michigan. Central, an over team with the 30 defense. Miami of Ohio's an under team with the 22. I never know what to do. Normally, the under team will dominate the over team's offense. That's why they're the under team, and that's what usually happens. So I always I kind of like both overs or both unders together, unless I can dissect that they're really not that strong defensively. East Car 749 to Temple. Temple's a Z team, 32 defense. East Car is an over team with a 28 defense. But they look like shit this year, East Car. Ella fucking Bama. Here we go. Ella fucking Bama. Where are they? Come on, where are they? Or are they on this side? They go out of order, so I start losing. Here they are. Ella fucking Bama. 13 and a half, 55, down from 56. Playing Missouri with Brady Cook, and they have a really good running back, Missouri. I don't know what's going on. They look like shit. They did beat Vanderbilt 30-27. They came from behind last week to beat Auburn. So I don't know what's really going on with them. They do not look like the solid team. Alabama, they're not playing New Mexico State and Arizona every week, so they're actually losing because of the schedule, because they're really not as good as they've always, they play one game, they beat LSU, and they're in the playoffs. You're like, not this time. They got lucky; they haven't had to play Texas yet. Missouri, very good team. Not a normally Missouri was on the Georgia side and Alabama didn't have to face them. So this is something new. I think this number is a little high, 13 and a half. They're both A teams. Missouri at the 16 defense. Milrose, he'll do his little song and a dance. But even Georgia lit him up, and Brady Cook is a better quarterback than Carson Beck, Georgia's quarterback. Both have 400 yards. This is a very even game. This should be a tease the dog game. I did see where Cook was sprained ankle or something, but I can't imagine he doesn't play. Alabama's not showing me the defense. They're giving up a ton of defense, a ton of points, and so is Missouri. Although one of their touchdowns last week was a block punt or something. For Auburn, so Missouri didn't really give it up. But I have a feeling this game stays close. I don't know what to do with it. I'm looking at totals, and Missouri's not scoring and giving up. Alabama is scoring and giving up. It's a very unknown game for me. I don't know what to do with it because Missouri. It's not like they're like Indiana where they're, I'm going to take Indiana as a dog against anybody, Ohio State included. Oregon, I would take India. If the quarterback's healthy and Indiana's getting 20 points from Oregon or Ohio State, I'm betting them very heavily. Here, I just don't know with Missouri. This is the game that's getting us in trouble. I'm fucking with this game instead of leaving it alone. So I'm leaving it alone. UTSA against Tulsa. UTSA 7.5, 54. Number hasn't moved. UTSA's an over team, I guess. Frank Harris, whether he come back. And Tulsa's a W, 35 defense. Tulsa's terrible. UTSA's, I'm not wasting my time betting on. Hey, Ryan, how are you? My guess underplay. I don't know. Are you making an underplay? Don't know. BYU, UCF. Now here, BYU is a 2-point favorite. UCF's now gone 1.5 point favorite and 55.5. And I am scratching my head. I'm looking. Did BYU is the quarterback out? No. What's going on? My BYU friend who lives in Florida, who I usually get the BYU downhole on, is going to the game because it's at UCF, which is I think it's in Tampa or Orlando. I think it's in Orlando, so he's 20 minutes away. So he's going to He's a BYU alumni, so he's actually going to go to the game. So I'm happy for him. You can't make BYU the dog here. They beat Kansas State. They beat Oklahoma State. I don't really get this. They got a great defense. Colorado killed UCF. I don't get it. I got to check the injury on this, but I'm checking the injury right now. Alabama, Missouri, you're going under. I don't know if that's that easy, but good luck to you on that. Let's check injuries here. BYU, wide receiver is questionable, and that's it. And UCF, nobody. So what's going on in that game that they would give you're giving me BYU in 7.5, and they're the better team by a lot, not a little. They're undefeated. They beat K-State and they beat Oak State, and UCF lost to Colorado. Really? I'm just speechless here. This could be our free play. BYU as the dog. I mean, I got to digest that a little bit because it just happened. Well, if we look at Alabama, Missouri, they score a lot and their defense sucks. I mean, they're giving up a lot of points. Well, let's break that down. All right. Let's break that down. So, Missouri beat Auburn 21-17. UMass doesn't count. A&M, they gave up 41 to A&M. And I think this is very similar. Vandy, they beat 30-27. BC, 27-21. Buffalo, 38-0. And Murray doesn't count. So let's look the last five. They've given up 21, 27, 41. Well, we got to take UMass out of there. So 17 and 58 and 48. 58 and 48 is 96. No, 58, 110. So they've given up 110 in 4 games. So that's 26, 27 a game. They scored 27, 30, 27, 30, 10, and 21. We take away the UMass game. So that's 57, 67, 80. They're scoring 20 and giving up 27. Well, let's look at Alabama. I think we know them. Lose to 10. How they lost to Tennessee, I have no idea. Tennessee's got a great defense. I don't know that Missouri's is that good. South Carolina, 27. Vanderbilt, 35. Georgia, 41. Wisconsin, 42. So let's go there. So they're basically 80, 110, 140, 160 divided by 5. They're scoring over 30 a game and giving up. Well, Wisconsin's hard because Van Dyke got hurt. 34 to Georgia, 40 to Vandy, 25 to South Carolina, 24 to Tennessee without an offense. So if we look at last 4 there, well, we can add to Wisconsin, but really without Van Dyke, we shouldn't, but we will. 25, 50, 90, 125, 135 divided by 5 is about a 28 defense. So you sure you want to go under in that game? Because you're not really dealing with the old Georgia defense that we would bet on. Right? I don't know that Alabama it's a 10 defense anymore. Missouri, Brady Cook, I think they can put – I think I played shortstop, and I was playing softball, and my neighbor, who was really fast, was up, and he just punched the ball to me. He just took a half swing and took off running, and he was very fast. But I knew he was very fast, so when I got the ball, I barehanded it and threw it to first, knowing I had no time. So I adjusted to the hitter. It wasn't like a big, slow guy I could catch and set up and throw. I knew I charged the ball, barehanded it, and fired him out because I knew I had no time. And the point of that is I know that Missouri knows they have to score. They can't play the same bullshit they just played against Auburn. They know they have to score. Can they? When you look at the Alabama-Tennessee game as an under, Tennessee has no quarterback. He sucks, but they have this very good defense and the very good running backs. Tennessee's running Sampson and this killer defense. And yet they, so Alabama, was 25-17 or something like that. So it was an under game against that. But Brady Cook's much better quarterback than the Tennessee quarterback. And they got a good runner. And then their defense is fairly good. It's not Tennessee's level. So is it going to be a little more like the Vanderbilt game, which was a 70-point game? Maryland, or when we look at the defense, I just said it's about a 28 defense. Missouri. We know how strong DeBorg is, and you got the young receiver, and you got Milrose and DeBorg, and they'll design plays to put up 30 points here. And I think Missouri realizes they got to score, and they're going to go for it on fourth and all this shit, and we will see. But I don't think it's 20-17. I haven't laced the score down on it yet. I would probably do like 31-24. It'd probably be a 50, and you got a 55. Yeah, you can go under 61. It's probably going to be close, but look what I did in the Georgia game, thinking it's Alabama, Georgia. It's going to be 13-10, and it was a 75-point game. So I'm not crazy about the under there as much as I am like when it says Iowa or Michigan in the title. Those are under teams because they just great defense and they have no offense. Anyway, not sure of anything. I'm more sure in pros. I'm sure you enjoyed my Sunday, the NFL this week. But see, that's what I'll do. I'll run the table in the pros 4 times a year. It's getting the matchups, right? It's getting, you give me Washington, Carolina, I'm going over. I don't know that Daniels getting hurt. Baltimore, Tampa, what a over that was. And that was a joke. And so you get those matchups not every week. Sometimes you get the over-under matchup where you're like, you get Baltimore against, some shit, Tennessee. Well, what do I do with that? I got that this week. I had Detroit, Tennessee. What do I do with it? Here I locked Detroit, Minnesota over. Now what do I do with this game? I can't lock the over with Tennessee. He's not going to give me points, especially if Devontae Adams or DeAndre, whatchamacallit's going to Kansas City now. I don't know why they get rid of their talent. Isn't that how the Steelers in the 70s won? They picked up Joe Green and they got Bradshaw. Oh, yeah. Then they got Ham, and then they got a guy named Franco Harris, and then they added Swan and Stallworth and Lambert, and they had Donnie Shell and Mel Blount and Mike Wagner. I mean, isn't that what you're supposed to do, is add talent to get the team and not, well, okay, let's get rid of it. That's all I hear on Detroit. Well, we lost Hutchinson. We need to sign Crosby or the Myles Garrett. And you're like, why would I give up Crosby or Myles Garrett? How hard it is to get them. Why would I give them up? You got to be kidding me. Well, they'll do it for 2 or 3 first-round draft picks. No, they won't. You already know he's a superstar. I don't know any of these first-rounders are superstars. And so why would I let them go? That's the whole point. Now, the receivers, I can get another receiver, no problem. That's why you see the Rams trying to get rid of Cooper Kupp because he's always injured. Pukanuka, he's coming back soon, but again, all right. Where was I? UCF, BYU. You giving me BYU as a dog to UCF? I like that one. Connecticut 6.5, 46.5. 6.5, 46.5. Connecticut's actually a B team. They lost a close one to Wake last week as the favorite. Rice is an E team. Kurt Warner's kid, but he's not doing much. They lost to Charlotte. I don't know. So these are games I just want to avoid. Minnesota, 4.5, 46 to Maryland. 446. Maryland's terrible on the road. They're an E team, 25 defense. Minnesota's a good under. Now, there you can play an under. Minnesota, under team, 16 defense. Minnesota should win this game at home, but I don't want to lay any points. Oak State, Baylor. Okay, now we're getting into my area. Oak State, Baylor. We've got Baylor 6.5, 64.5. Baylor, they're both over teams. 29 defense, Oak State, 26 Baylor, 370 yards. This one I like, yes. Akron, Eastern 352. Where are you? Eastern. Here you go. 352. Akron's the Z team. I got Eastern favored by 14. They're only favored by 3. We've got to check. Now that we have injuries, we've got to check injuries here. Eastern's got the everybody questionable, undisclosed, but none of the quarterbacks. Akron, it doesn't really matter. They suck anyway. So when I look at this, they're only 3. Akron's absolutely terrible. They're a Z team with a 37 defense. Eastern's an over with the 26 defense, 357 for Eastern. Akron gets a whopping 276 yards. And I'm only laying 3. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, all right, let's go. Does Akron have any chance of winning this game? Eastern just beat Central 38-34, who's an explosive team. They lost to Miami of Ohio 38-14. They beat Clark Kent 52-33. Jacksonville State, powerful. They beat 37-34. They lost to Washington 30-9, but they did play a Washington and beat UMass. Akron, the only team they beat is Colgate. Not Crest, but Colgate. Rutgers beat them 49-17. South Carolina beat them 50-7. Ohio beat them 30-10. Bowling Green 27-20. And Western 34-24. So let's give this as our free play. Free play. Eastern Michigan laying just 3 points. Somehow they fucked up the line on this. I got them by 14. I mean, that's what it should be. They're an over team against Akron, who didn't they play Ohio State? Yeah. They lost 52-6 to Ohio State. My fault there. Rutgers killed them. South Carolina killed them. Ohio killed them. Bowling Green beat them by 7 and Western by 10. So they did score a little more. Let's see if they've changed quarterbacks. No, Finley's still the quarterback. Here's a neat thing here. It's got quarterback recent games. So I can go in here and look and see the quarterback, if there was a quarterback change or whatever. This Bullock's the running quarterback, I assume. But Finley, I don't know. So go Eastern. I mean, this is just, you're getting 3 points. Akron hasn't won a game. No, they beat Colgate, right? They beat Crest. They beat a toothpaste. They didn't beat a football team. This is it's just candy from a baby. This is minus. You get +3. Even if Akron somehow wins, they got to win by 3. Yeah. Well, actually, wait. There's a 2.5, so we can go. We'll go and go 3.5 on FanDuel. 2.5 on FanDuel. So let's go. Let's take that 3.5. I don't see an injury. All right. Ball State, Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois, 12, 48.5. We don't know what. Northern Illinois beats Notre Dame and then loses to shit team. They lose to Buffalo. Ball State, I have no idea. Let's just ignore that game. It doesn't exist. Iowa, 14 and 38 to Northwestern. Now, if you ever wanted to bet an under, this might be the game, but I'm not even sure it is. I don't think Northwestern's going to do much scoring, but I watched the Iowa-Michigan State game this morning. What game was I watching? Where was my defense for Iowa? Michigan State went up and down the field like they were playing, Kent or something. So I didn't see anything there that made me think Iowa's got this great defense like they normally do. Northwestern, 14-38. I wouldn't go under in this game because Iowa has been scoring, could put up 40 points by themselves. I think the play would be Iowa. They play better at home. They got that great running back. That's how I look at it. But I don't like the 4. It's too many points. Oregon, 21.5, 54.5 to Illinois. Went up from 21 and 54 to 54.5. Illinois beat Michigan. They will be very flat. They got to go to the West Coast. 18 defense. Oregon with the 17 defense. 465 yards a game. We know how strong they are. They beat Ohio fucking State. They put up 37 on Boise and 32 on Ohio State at home. Look for them to put up a big number here. And Illinois is going to rest their laurels because we beat Michigan. We don't have to play Oregon. We beat Michigan. Oregon will come to play because they beat Purdue 35-0. And now they see Illinois beat Michigan. They're a little scared, going, wait, this team beat Michigan. Oh, okay. So when you get a team scared, they really light it up. So look for Oregon there. TT against TCU, my kind of game. Texas Christians, no, yeah, they're favored. Wow, really? 6.5, 66.5. I got to go into the injuries here. I like Texas Tech as a dog here if they're healthy. A D lineman out, an O lineman out, a DB out as of October 21st. Valdez, the running back, and I don't think he's their normal running back. These are Tech's injuries. TCU's got nothing. A linebacker out. Who cares? Stats. So T-Tech lost to Baylor 59-35. They got me on Arizona 28-22. I might have taken them. Cincinnati, they played an 85-point game. Arizona State at 52. North Texas an 87. Washington State. They lost to Washington State. Jesus. TCU, on the other hand, defeats Utah 13-7, but you got to discount because Utah's got a great defense. So you discount any Utah if you're looking for totals. They lost to Houston. How do you beat Utah and lose to Houston? They lost to Houston 30-19 and then beat Kansas. SMU killed them. UCF, it was 35-34. 66, so that's a 60. T-Tech with the 36 defense, TCU with the 27. Yeah, you're going to look for points in this game, that's for sure. Kent against Western Michigan. Clark Kent, here we go. Western. I have Western by 20, by 17 and the spread 17. I nailed that one with the 59.5 total. It's hard to play totals with Kent because they're not going to score for you. However, their defense is a 46 and Western's is a 36. So enough said there. No defense on the field. Western's an over team, so they should light them up pretty good. Kent might come back because Western doesn't have a defense. So we will see. Possibly an over if we think Kent can actually score. Toledo 2.5, 49.5 against Bowling Green. Up from 47. The Sharps betting this game over for some reason, which I don't understand. I'll take the extra points if I go under. Here I have Toledo by 10. They're 2.5-point favorites. Bowling Green's an under team, 21 defense, and Toledo's an A team with a 19 defense. Toledo's a better team, and they are at home. That's a gift, 2.5. Jesus. Wake and Stanford, Wake 354. To Stanford, both teams have a 32 defense, but Wake's an over team, although I hate Backenmeyer, the quarterback. Stanford, Daniels sucks, their quarterback. They get 254 yards a game. Again, this is, I think, Wake. The problem is going from North Carolina to California. And again, this is, don't want to bet a road favorite flying cross country. This whole cross country thing's ridiculous. James Madison, 24, 54.5 to Southern Miss. Southern Miss, the Z team with the 34 defense. They get 222 yards a game. James Madison, the A team, the 18 defense, 412 yards a game. Go James Madison, beat Army here. They should light up Southern Miss. Cal, 9.5, 49 to Oregon State. You got to like Cal here. Well, went to 9.5. I like them better at 9. 9.5. They got to win by, touchdown. Oregon State, an over team with the 27 defense. Cal's more of an under team with an 18. However, when they played Miami, they put up 37. They lost 38-37. They had Miami 38-20 or 37-20. But they can score, and they're a strong under team, which helps you in these type of games. So I don't know if I'd play total, but Cal's probably worth a shot here. All right. Texas and Vandy. Vandy beat Ella fucking Bama. Then they almost beat Missouri, which really confuses it more, 31-28. Then they go to Kentucky and 19-14 them as 14-point dogs for some reason, which made absolutely no sense. And I'm embarrassed I didn't lock that game. Then we got Texas 19-53.5. Line hasn't moved. My line was 17. Texas, we see, is really a 28-15 team. So they're probably still an A. Vanderbilt's a 30-22 team once we get into conference. So Texas throwing out the high school games are really a 20. They're really a 15 defense, not a 10. What stereo on? So what do we do with this mess? We can see when Vandy wants to play, and not like last week when they didn't want to play against Bowling Green, or they were looking ahead to Texas, and they're a home dog. Just a second. Is Texas that strong? We just saw them get killed by my Georgia team. So maybe they've been exposed. I warned you that Michigan was not a good offensive team, and neither was Oklahoma. So we've seen Vandy. You can put up 40 on Alabama and, 19 on Kentucky. Kentucky's probably got a better defense. Texas is a better overall team than Kentucky, but are they overall better than Alabama? Not by a lot. This is just aching to take Vandy in 25 fucking points here. Daggio Pavia, they're at home. They will be on fire here. Let's quickly check injuries. I'm so excited I can check injuries again. Texas. And DB out. A couple of running backs we knew were out are still out. And no Pavia, 3 questionable. So Vandy is very healthy. Well, let's look at, there's one other thing. We can check the head-to-head. I don't think they even have a head-to-head, though. No, there is no recent games. So what you try to do is see, all you can really go by is the Alabama game, and they fucking beat them, right? They put up 40 on Alabama, which before then wasn't a big thing, but Georgia put up 35, and then South Carolina put up 27. All of a sudden, putting up 40 on Alabama is not a big deal, but all of a sudden, Georgia lit up Texas. So putting 30 up on Texas is not a big deal. There's a lot being uncovered as we go deeper into the season, and that's where I get more. I want to say more better, but I don't want to say that. I get more. I get better picks. Let's say. So you ask yourself, would I take Texas minus 13 here? The game's in Vandy, and they beat Alabama and Kentucky. No fucking way. So then it goes over under. Probably an over because Vandy, can score, and their defense isn't that good. Pavia will score. Believe me, they knew how to beat Alabama. They will know how to score on Texas. And they watched Georgia do it, and Pavia is that good. Their defense, obviously, Texas should score. So this could be, we need 47 and a half. So from that standpoint, over might be the best play here, but hard to not look at Vandy in 25 here. Can they do the double beating Alabama and Texas 3 or 4 weeks apart? I don't think they'll be scared. They beat Alabama. I mean, after beating Alabama, are you really afraid of Texas? Are you, oh my God, we can't score on them? They got Pavia. Now, Texas might know a little bit how to defend them a little bit better. But I don't think you can. I think he's a very good quarterback. He can throw and he can run. I think he gives Texas fits, and they haven't, they haven't played Alabama. That would be close. Milrose is close to Pavia. Georgia, he was a straight back passer, but they ran into Georgia's Vanderbilt does not have Georgia's defense. Even Georgia's 2.0 defense is still better than Vanderbilt's. I don't see they stop Texas. However, this will be electric. It's at Vandy. If you're afraid of Vandy in 25, then I suggest possibly the over 47.5. Vanderbilt will score on this team. So the question is, you got 25 to start with. You're probably going to get 20. They're going to score 20. That's 45. Is Texas going to put up a 60 on Vanderbilt? Alabama put up a 35. And Alabama's got a better offense, I think, than Texas. Yours is okay. I think he's overrated. I I don't know. My gut says take Vandy in the points because they beat Alabama and and it wasn't a fluke. They beat them, then they came back and beat Kentucky, and now they beat Ball State, whatever. And here they go against Texas, and they're at home. And I just is this a game I want to fuck with? Is the question. But I think taking the 25 or going over 47 is the only way to play this game. You can't go under. Vanderbilt will score because they did it against Bama, and they did 20 on Kentucky. So there you go. New Mexico, Colorado State. Colorado State, 6.5, 65. New Mexico, the over teams. This is the 95-point game I talked about last week with Utah State against New Mexico. I called it 50-47. They won 50-45, something like that. Dampier, very good quarterback for New Mexico. They will score. This is a 27 defense. Here we only have to go 65. We only need 59 in this game. Last week we needed 72. I was chicken to play it. Colorado State, pretty good offense. I got them as an ET. They score in the 20s. Let's take a deep dive into Colorado State here. No, we know New Mexico puts up 60 on everybody. They beat Air Force 21-13. Air Force is 31 on San Jose State, 31 in a loss to Oregon State, 27 on Utah, 9 on Colorado, and got shut out by Texas. So the Texas game's skewing them. We look at last 5, so we got to throw the Colorado game. We got 21, 31, 31, 27, and 9. 20, 50, 80, 110, 120 divided by 5 is 25. Defensively, 28, 17, 39, 24, 13. Again, they lost to Texas 52. Nothing skews their defense. 28. It's funny. Well, they held UTEP to 17. Let's throw that. That's 28 and 40, 30 and 40, 70. And the San Jose State game is 95 divided by 3 is 30. So they got about a 30 defense. And they got probably a 30 offense, roughly. So the exercise was, can we get to the 59 with Colorado State? If we look at Colorado State's quarterback, Fowler to Coasley, he's been playing 14 of 22, 22 of 39 against Colorado, 2 picks against Oregon State, 2 touchdowns, 20 of 30, 1 against Air Force. But Air Force usually has a pretty good defense. It's not the greatest offensive team I would like to go over with. But New Mexico is such a strong offense and such a weak defense. I mean, New Mexico's a 43 defense. Even Colorado State will find 30 points. And there's no way they're holding New Mexico under 40. Do I take New Mexico 12.5 now with the 43 defense? So it's over 59. So we got a carload of overs this week. South Alabama, 7.5, 45.5 to Lou Monroe. Lou Monroe's an under team, 20 defense, pretty good defense. They had a big upset over somebody good. South Alabama, an over team with a 25 defense. This is Major Applewhite's team, who I thought would be very explosive, and they're not. They're not as I thought they would be. So they probably can handle Lou Monroe, but I don't want to go against good defenses. Sorry. Arkansas State, 7.5, 50.5 to Troy. Troy's terrible. W. Arkansas State's a W. Arizona 355 to West Virginia. Fafita's been looking like crap. 7 points on K-State, 7 points on Colorado, who apparently has a defense now. West Virginia, an over team with a 29 defense. Arizona, 28. Over under 55. I don't like West Virginia enough to take them at the dog. Utah, Houston, my under teams are playing. Now here, if you want an under game, here's your under game. Utah, 3.5, 37 to Houston. Houston's a W team. I think they switched quarterbacks to Chris. No, well, they had Chris out there. Last week, their big quarterback was D. Smith. Oh, Donovan Smith sucks. I don't know what they're doing. So they got Donovan Smith and Chris. Chris had a big game against TCU and then must have got hurt. Let's check injuries. Cam Rising out with the lower body October 14th. Finally, the injuries. Chris, questionable. Okay. So if Chris is out, and we can check here Saturday. This is a 7 p.m. game. I would say if Chris is out, this is definitely an under. If he plays, not that they're much better, but they're a little bit better. Utah, without Cam Rising, is going to run the ball and play defense, and a very strong 16 defense. Houston, a 23 defense. What, I got Spider? If I let the spider sting me, will I be Spider-Man? Where did he come from? He's hanging down on his web. If I start like getting like stuff, I'm gonna start doing Spider-Man stuff. I gotta go get a costume. I can't do Spider-Man if I don't have the costume on, right? So Utah 3.5, 37. Houston. So it's up to Chris. If Donovan Smith stinks, they're not going to do anything. This is an under with Donovan Smith. With Chris, maybe he's a little bit stronger, but not great. Utah probably runs. Wilson's been okay. Overall, probably a low-scoring game here. Miami against Florida State. Miami 21, 54.5. Where am I? I'm back on the other page. 21-54. Florida State's terrible. W team, 25 defense. They've probably given up. 286 total yards of offense. Miami playing very strong. 551 yards of offense still. Yeah, I get when they play the college team, the high school team, the first couple of weeks, but we're now at week 9, and they went to California and put up 38 on that team. Is much better than Florida State. It used to be a rivalry game, but even without Jimmy Johnson, I think Miami can crush them. 21. I just take Miami and just don't worry about it. Utah State and Wyoming. Wyoming 1.5, 57.5. Utah State, I had favored by 7. They're an over team, 44 defense, 500 yards, a good quarterback. Wyoming's a Z team, 252 yards, and you're making Wyoming the favorite here. Really? All right. So I got Utah State -7. They played the 95-point game with New Mexico. They will score on Wyoming. So even if they lose, they're not going to get blown out. They got too good of an offense, and Wyoming is not. They're a Z team. So here's a perfect case of the Z team being favored against the over team. The over team, they won't be able to stop. They have a 30 defense. So go Utah State in this one. Bobby's team. All right, where are you, Bobby? A&M 2.5. Are you kidding me? 53.5. I have LSU by 3. They're both A teams. This is simply take the dog in the A game. You got LSU, very good quarterback, great coach. They're not going to be able to stop them. LSU is going to throw all over on them. And A&M, we see, does not have a big offense. So, yeah, they got a good defense. Big deal. LSU plays Alabama every fucking year when they had a good defense. It's not anything new. Quarterback's much better, Neusmeyer. So you got to like LSU as the dog here. My favorite, Michigan, is 4, down from 5, and 40.5 to Michigan State. I was watching the film today. Do I want to go under or doggy? And Michigan State just lit the fuck out of Iowa. Granted, it was at home, and granted, Iowa had their head up their ass because they weren't at home. What do? We're not at home against Washington when they killed Washington. Michigan, we know, has no quarterback, decent defense, coach is terrible. Michigan State has much the better coach. Childs is starting to play well. Their defense is playing well. They brought in a freshman wide receiver. I like Michigan State to win the game. And you're getting 10. It's the big rivalry game, but this is not Michigan. Are you scared of the quarterback? Do you think you want to take Michigan +2? Be my guess. Go State, beat Army. Wisconsin, Penn State. Penn State 6.5. I'm confused on this game. 48. Which Wisconsin team are we getting? The one that just killed Northwestern and beat somebody else? Penn State went to USC 33-30. At home, they did beat Illinois. I don't think they've played anybody yet. Wisconsin has been playing better. They did play fucking Bama at home. We got killed, but they played them. And they lost at USC. So, I don't know. Penn State's a pretty good team. Allard, he's a good coach. He's like 10 touchdowns and 1 pick, but they never seem to score. They're actually an A team, 14 defense. Wisconsin's a B team now with the 17. We like the coach, the Ohio State Cincinnati coach for Wisconsin is normally a pretty good defensive coach, Penn State. I think this game's close, but Penn State blew out West Virginia, so I'm kind of like, I'll watch, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I don't know over under, if it's an under 53.5, maybe, I don't know. Kentucky against Auburn. Kentucky 2.5, 43. Auburn's a B team with the 21 defense. Kentucky's an under team with a 19 defense. Well, we know Kentucky's an under team. Auburn doesn't score much. This is an under game, 43, under 49. If you're looking for an under game, here it is. You can have the Utah-Houston game, or you can have Auburn-Kentucky. Kansas State. I love this game. I got Kansas State -7. Total 55. The spread's 10, 55.5. So that was 11, dropped to 10. 10, 55.5. Kansas is a B team. They're getting better. They're scoring more. They put up a big number on Houston last week. Kansas State's been outstanding always. They have a great system. Quarterback's not great, but he can run well. He can throw well. 20 defense against the 24. Total 55.5. Both teams get 400 yards. This should be a good game. SMU and Duke. SMU is 12 and 48.5. Really didn't change. SMU's an A team. 20 defense, 390 a game. Duke, a B team. They got Malik Murphy, the Texas guy who sucked at Texas, as their quarterback. 327 a game. SMU should win, but it's a big number. I'm a little worried, but because Duke can score a little, I guess. I don't know. They came back from North Carolina down 20-7 to win 21-20. I don't know. I think SMU's the better team, of course. It's a big number, though. I mean, they could easily be up 14 and win by 7, and you're fucked. Fresno State, 5.5, 55.5. This is rivalry game. Both teams are over. 27 defense, Fresno State, 24 for San Jose State. I don't really want to bet against Mikey Keene, although he's been sucking lately. San Jose State's playing much better. Probably a dog game. All right, here's a game I like. Cincinnati, Colorado. Colorado went from 6 to 5.5. And 57.5 hasn't moved. Cincinnati is an 18, 19 defense. Colorado's an 18 now with the 22 defense. They got their defense better. This is take the dog in an A game. That's exactly what this is. I love Cincinnati as a dog here. This will be a close game. Absolutely. Washington State 14-58 to San Diego State, up from 56. Still 14. San Diego State, always an under team, 23 defense. Washington State's an over team, 27, playing well. They should kick San Diego State's ass. The last game, Nevada against Hawaii. I got Nevada -1. It was 2.5. Hawaii and a 45.5 from 46.5. Nevada's an over team with the 27 defense. They've been playing much better lately. They played Fresno State. We had it over 44 last week, and we got to 45 early in the third quarter, and that was it. They didn't score in the second half except for the field goal we needed. Hawaii, they're not scoring. I don't understand. They have this potent passing offense. There's no scoring. 24 defense. If Nevada goes dog, I like Nevada. I mean, they're one. There is a pick 'em on Caesars where they are even. So if we get a 1 and maybe there's an injury, we'll have to check, but I'm not going to check it now. And that's what we have. So lots of toys to play with this week. I think I found about 3 locks going through that mess, which is why we go through the mess. Free play, Eastern Michigan getting 3.5 from Akron. I mean, really, you're giving me points against the Z team. Thank you. Appreciate it. Where's the ticket window? When can I gotta wait for the game to be over to cash the ticket? Okay. So your big games, you got Boise, Vegas Friday night. I mean, that's why it's hard to bet the Liberty Jacksonville State teaser tonight. I'm not gonna bet. I don't wanna bet it. Syracuse Pitt tomorrow. Boise Vegas is Friday night. Rutgers SC, who gives a shit? Georgia Tech, VTech, probably Kings, probably out. We got to check the backup. Same thing with Washington, Indiana, which should be a lock. Indiana, the quarterback's out with a broken thumb, but only for a few weeks, so it's weird. Nebraska, Ohio State, that's going to get ugly. Oklahoma, Ole Miss, going to get ugly. We've got our EMU Akron. I think that's a 2-3 o'clock game. Illinois goes to Oregon. Good luck, boys. You beat Michigan. There you go. Go rest on that. Alabama against Missouri. If you can come up with that one, let me know. As I say, I don't want to make a living betting against Alabama, even this Alabama team. Very explosive, but their defense is not that good. Brady Cook, very, very good quarterback. Should be a top 5 quarterback. In reality, I don't know. These idiots will make him a top 5. It's all up to Mel Kiper, apparently, because he's a genius. He gave us such picks as Fields and Bryce Young going number 1. Yeah, he did that. How'd you do there, Mel? Fucking idiot. So we'll see. Missouri has the weapons to make it go. They have the team. They have a very good coach, a very good quarterback. The defense is a pretty good defense. they held Vandy to 28. So this should be a very good game. I do not see Alabama winning by 40. It's not going to happen. We got Oak State, Baylor, TCU, Texas Tech, TCU. We've got BYU going to UCF as a dog. Thank you, God. They're just sending us gifts here. This is the beauty of you doing your own line. You can see the phony line. BYU should be at least a 3-point favorite. UCF's not that good. They've lost 4 in a row. Here comes BYU, who's undefeated. Okay, yeah, but they got a killer defense, which is what I like about it. So you're giving me BYU as a dog? Thank you. We got Texas Vandy. Again, I get Vandy in 25. It's Christmas Day all over the place. New Mexico, Colorado State, Florida State at Miami. This is why sometimes I'm not going to fuck with West Virginia, Arizona. I got too much meat on the bone on these other games. We got Michigan State, Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin, LSU, A&M. We got Kansas State. We got Cincinnati at Colorado. Very good game there. So out of that mess, I've got probably 4 locks I can come up with, and then about 8 or 9 plays. That's why I laugh. Oh, teasers, you've got to pick the second game. Oh, yeah, it's so hard to pick a second game in a teaser. Jesus Christ. The hard part's weeding the 20 down to 10, so we kind of throw out the losers. Yeah, we got good ones. Now, let's look at the pros. Now, the pros all lined up last week, not this week. I gotta do some work to get paid this week. So we start off with mini 348 to the Rams. I always worry it's a Thursday night. Is Cooper Kupp, I believe, is going to play if they don't trade him. Today's Wednesday. The game's tomorrow. 3-48. Minnesota with an 18 defense. The Rams with the 26 defense. The Rams haven't been playing defense. All the receivers are hurt. The running back's okay. Stafford's good. But at the end of the day, Darnold against Stafford. I don't know who Darnold is now because he actually looks like a quarterback. We've got Baltimore, 944.5 to Cleveland. Baltimore's problem is they're an over team. They're a 26 defense. And if you watch the Tampa game, where was the D? It was like nobody was tackling anybody. It was a joke. Especially Derrick Henry. Nobody wants to tackle that guy. So Cleveland. So apparently Thompson Robinson's out. We know Deshaun Watson's out, which leaves us with Winston, who sucks. Looking for crab legs, Winston. He's terrible. Cleveland with the 23 defense with Myles Garrett's a little surprising. So many injuries. Now, Nick Chubb did play last week. Keep that in mind. Cleveland beat them last year when I think Baltimore was up 14 points, and Cleveland came back, took them to overtime, and won like 36-33. This is the problem we have with Lamar. He can't hold leads. He's good when he needs to score, but when he doesn't need to score, he just hands off. They just read it, and he doesn't do anything. So Baltimore, the over, Cleveland, the under, but now a new quarterback, Winston, who another wasted number 1 draft pick. Nobody talks about when Mel Kiper fucks it up so bad, but we'll just keep listening to Mel Kiper. Baltimore, it's hard because of the 26 defense. Then you think, well, I'll just go over. That was my lock last week, Baltimore and Tampa over. I had it in the third quarter. However, can I lock Winston? Is he going to light up Baltimore? So that's where it gets difficult with these new quarterbacks. if it's Stafford and the Rams, I can maybe lock it, but not here. Indy, Houston, 5.5, 46. Indy's an under team with the 21 defense. I guess Richardson will be the quarterback. Houston, an E team with the 23 defense with Stroud. Is this an over game? I don't know. I can't trust Richardson. I can't trust him to play the whole game. Very difficult. Again, Indy, I have no idea because you don't know enough about Richardson. He only plays 2 or 3 games a year, and then he gets hurt and counts his money. And Stroud, it comes and goes. That's my point last week. You needed him to score to beat Green Bay. What did he do? Didn't show. So that's the problem with these Strouds and Lamars is to win the game, they don't show up. Green Bay, Jacksonville. Green Bay 4.5, 49.5. If I can find them. There they are. Love against Lawrence. Green Bay with the 20 they're a B team with the 20 defense, 400 yards versus Jacksonville, a W team with a 28 defense. They look terrible. Lawrence wants to run because you can't pass. 28 defense. Green Bay should eat these guys up. Jacksonville coming back from 2 weeks in London won't even know what day it is when they play because they're so fucked being on the time zone. I'm still fucked coming back from Italy, right? I've been back about a week now. I'm still getting up at 5 in the morning and at 8 o'clock at night, I'm falling asleep because I'm 6 hours ahead. So it takes time to really get into your time zone. Here's Jacksonville was there 2 weeks. They're so fucked. They won't know what day they're going to get killed. This is a problem of playing 2 games in Jacksonville. One's bad in London. One's bad enough, but 2. And then you come back, and there's no bye week. They're gonna play. They're out of their fucking minds. So look for them to be very sluggish. Look for Green Bay to really pound them, score a lot. We'll see what we do with it. Detroit 10.5, 45.5 to Tennessee. I think it's Mason Rudolph going against golf. Tennessee's an under team with a 24 defense, 259 yards. Will Levis, what is he doing in the league? And it's like Daniel Jones. What do you guys? Oh, because they can run. Yeah, you're doing great with these running quarterbacks. You lose every game. You don't score, but they can run. I mean, this is your thought? Oh, my God. What a bunch of fucking idiots running this thing. And then we see Detroit's playing better. Now their receiver, who sucks anyway, is out for gambling or whatever. Williams, again, for 2 more weeks. Guy's a fucking loser. I think it was steroids or something. Yeah, he doesn't know you can't take steroids. Detroit with a 20 defense of that I don't buy. Many put up 30 something on them last week. That's about what they are without Hudson. So you got Hudson stats you got to throw out that he's not there. But Tennessee doesn't have a way to attack it with Rudolph. This is one of those, I don't think you can play total because Detroit's going to put up a ton and Tennessee can't do anything. The loss of Williams doesn't mean anything. They're going to run and they got the St. Thomas, so they'll throw the ball. Atlanta, Tampa Bay. Atlanta 2.5, 46. I was surprised they were favored. Cousins against the Baker, but I don't have a wide receiver. Both my receivers for Tampa are out. Atlanta, they don't have any anyway. 26 defense for Tampa, 24 for Atlanta. Tampa is an over team. That's why I locked them with Baltimore, another over team. But I don't have that with Atlanta because Kirk Cousins is a 24, not a 30. Penix, I would go over with this game. Now, okay, they don't have the receivers, so what do we do about it? Well, it doesn't matter. This is the NFL. the other receivers on the team get an opportunity. They wouldn't be there if they can't catch. So it really is a non-factor. Same thing with the Niners. Not having Ayuk and Samuel is really a non-factor. They'll run. I mean, these guys have the chance to play now, and it's not that hard to catch the ball. We see all these idiots out there. So keep that in mind. It's not as big of a loss as losing Chubb for Cleveland or Barry Sanders getting hurt or Walter Payton being out. It's a much bigger loss than the receivers. I mean, they're just a dime a dozen. So over under 46, yeah, that's doable. The JETSs, -7, 41.5 to New England. So I was watching this replay of the New England and Jacksonville. Somehow I was able to watch it. I think Rodgers is going to have a huge day here. I mean, there's the New England's terrible. Their secondary sucks. Drake May doesn't know what he's doing. What does he get drafted for? My God, he's pathetic. I love when he completes a pass. Oh yeah, just is that how he looked at North Carolina? Well, nobody knows. We didn't watch him at North Carolina. They were never on TV. But here's where New England with the 25 defense, but we have Rodgers and, all the coaching problems there. But after watching this, they have no defense. Rodgers should light up this team. New England is a Z team, a 25 defense, and Drake May, who will not light up the Jets. Look for the Jets pretty easily here. Arizona, Miami, 346.5. I can find them. Miami 46.5. Not Arizona, my mistake. Murray against, I believe, Tagovailoa is back. That's why they're favored. Oh, he's just going to walk in after 5 weeks out and light it up. 25 defense for Arizona. They're an E team. Miami's Z team. They weren't much better with Tag the first 2 weeks. I don't know what you're going to come in and just doesn't need timing and, but I don't know. Arizona, I mean, they're a 25 defense. It's hard to say because, again, you don't know what you're getting from Tag after being out for 5 weeks. And he's got to be worried about his fourth concussion. So it's like that movie, 5 concussions and he's dead and he's got 3. So he gets 2 more. He'll keep playing. Why is he playing? He's terrible anyway. He's not like a superstar. And he's gotten 3 concussions. Not a problem. We'll just keep playing him because obviously he knows how to not get a concussion. Oh, my God. Look for Budda Baker to be all over him and scare the hell out of him. So it should be a tight game. Good game here is Cincinnati, 2.5. 47.5 against Philly. Hurts against Joe Burrow. Philly's an under team with a 19 defense. Could be who they're playing, the Giants. Cincinnati's an over team with the 24 defense. We know how they played Kansas City. We know how they played Baltimore. They're kind of an over team now. Their defense isn't that strong. They're 24, but against good teams, they did it. Hurts, okay, you didn't have the receivers. They're back. I look for a pretty good game here. Hurts should have some success. We know Burrow is going to have a lot of success. San Diego, New Orleans. San Diego laying 7.5 and 40 to New Orleans. Rattler's kind of banged up. Jake Haener, are we ready for Carr coming back? I don't know. Against Herbert, who's had the high ankle sprain, but keeps playing. I think they lost last week. Yeah, Arizona beat them 17-15. Which game am I doing? San Diego. 14 defense. So, yeah, you're looking for an under. Here, just put the name Pittsburgh or San Diego, and you found your under. San Diego, no. If it's Rattler, San Diego's going to win. If it's Hayner, he gives him a better chance. Derek Carr obviously would give him the best. Herbert, Bosa's questionable, so I think he's going to be back. Yeah, look for San Diego to just 17-3 or something like that. A lot of injuries on New Orleans. Shakir's out. Olave's out, I believe. A lot of wide receivers are out. And I thought we're trying to make the game so safe that they all can wear dresses and let's call it flag football because we don't want anybody to get hurt in the NFL. Like, we don't want a car accident in NASCAR either, right? They should slow down to 40 miles an hour. Yeah, okay. Buffalo, 3-47 to Seattle. Buffalo, an A team with a 19 defense, Josh Allen. Seattle, an over team with a 23 defense, and Geno Smith. Josh Allen, oh yeah, he forgot to show up against Baltimore. People don't seem to realize when I don't like a quarterback is why I don't like a quarterback. Joe Montana would have showed up against Baltimore. We know Mahomes did. We know Burrow did. Where was Josh Allen? 35-10. But he gets Seattle here, a team with not a good defense. If Seattle was favored, I would have locked Buffalo, but Buffalo is favored, so can't do that. We will see. The Bears. The Bears are actually favored at Washington. Now, Jalen Daniels is supposedly going to play. He's got ribs, but it's not, I don't think, too serious. But we don't know. The Bears are 1.5, 43.5. If you hear Daniels play, you don't have to talk to me. Go bet Washington in 7.5 and bet your house on it. Washington will kill them if Daniels plays. They're a much better team, much better quarterback, and the defense is getting better. If he doesn't play and they go back to Mariota, I do not expect Mariota to light up Chicago like he lit up Carolina. Carolina has a fucking 35 defense, okay? So anybody's going to look good. Fields look good. Caleb looked good. Prime Jr. would look good against Carolina. Terrible defense. Again, great coach hiring by Carolina. Andy Dalton did get into a car accident. We'll talk about that when we got to Carolina. But Washington, so Mariota will be okay, but you're not going to see a high score unless you get Daniels, and I don't know how high he'll get. But the total is 43 right now. So as soon as you smell Daniels will play, and I would think he will, you want to jump on Washington. Caleb cannot beat Daniels. No way. Oakland and Kansas City. Yes, from the 1970s. Hank and Lenny against John Madden. We got KC there is a 9.5, which I'm going to use, and a 41.5. What can I say? Mahomes against Minshew. The other guy got hurt. The Purdue guy who sucks, O'Connell. KC's the B team with the 17 defense, and they got Mahomes. And Oakland's terrible with the 26. KC wins this game easy. And do you want to fuck with the over-under? I don't know. I mean, Oakland, are they going to score? And they got a 26 defense, so you're not going to stop Mahomes. That's what we love, the 26 defense. Mahomes, 26 defense, a lot of points. Mahomes goes against Denver, that's going to be a war because they got a 15 defense. That's why we look at defenses. They will determine what you do in the game. I got a 26 defense. Yeah, I like Mahomes' chances here. And it's 9.5, so, keep it under a touchdown. And here's Denver, Carolina. There's an 8.5. 8.5. Denver, 43.5. Carolina, a W team. Andy Dalton got into a car accident. I don't think it's major. He was with his kids and his dog. Drove driving around Charlotte, probably trying to do some car racing. He was scoring, and then they figured him out. Now he doesn't score, and their defense sucks. Denver's playing great ball, an under team, a 15 defense. Bo Nix is starting to get it. He's running a little bit more. Definitely look for Denver here. And if you don't get Dalton and you get Bryce Young, then double the bet. Oh, my God. My 1990 championship games, Dallas against the Niners. We got the Niners 4.5, 46.5. Dak against Purdy. All the Frisco receivers are injured, and McCaffrey. Dallas, I think Micah Parsons might play. He's listed as questionable. What do you do? They have they'll bring in their backups. Frisco's an over team with the 23 defense, although now you don't have the receivers. Dallas is a W team. They don't score with the 28 defense. San Francisco 4.5. What the hell can you do with this game? Frisco still has a decent defense. I hate their coach. Biggest choke. Shanahan. Dallas, worst coach. I mean, what are you going to do? A W team. You can't even take Dallas in 10.5, even with all the injuries, because you got Dak Prescott. He's not going to do it. And you got the coach is terrible. This is a game that you just watch. You can't really. Who do you play? Do I play over or under? Maybe I play under if Parsons is back and I don't have receivers for the Niners and I got Dak Prescott. Maybe that's the only way you can play this game is under 52.5 maybe. And our Monday night game, the Giants against Pittsburgh. Can somebody explain this line? Pitt 6.5, 36.5. I got Russell Wilson against Daniel Jones, and I'm only laying a 0.5 point. Really? Yeah. Okay. Let's make this the free play. Go free. Go Pitt. Pitt -0.5 against the fucking Giants with their defense. And Russell Wilson now, yeah, okay, go free. Pitt even. Oh, my God. So that be football. Now it's my, so you can see the matchups where I had Detroit, Minnesota. I looked at it for about a half a second, and I go lock over. Baltimore and Washington, lock over. Baltimore, Tampa, lock over. Basically, whoever Baltimore plays, except for Cleveland with Winston, you fucked up my locked over. Detroit gets Tennessee. So, again, I got the contrary. Cincinnati, another lock over type of team. Minnesota, Green Bay, San Diego, the lock under team. Denver's a good under. KC, who the hell know? You just bet them. And then Washington was a lock over. And then I get fucking Mariota, I think. Dallas and Frisco are totally fucked. And then the Giants and Pitt. Now I got Russell Wilson. So that's what we got. This is why you always got to know about your injuries, because they change. Washington's an over with Daniels, but without Daniels, they're not an over. Or maybe they will be with Mariota. We can't count on Mariota to do what he did because he did it against Carolina. So this is your problem. So you have to now, you're back to square one with Washington, with not necessarily Pittsburgh because we know Russell Wilson, but some of these teams, you're back to square one. Tennessee, Mason Rudolph. Oh, yeah, what do I do with him? I know he sucks, but that's what you do is you got to be careful reclassing the team. College, again, now we finally have the injuries back. We can see. I got a boatload of college, and I'll figure out at least 6 pro games. The locks, they got to stick out. Detroit, Minnesota lock over, and it was like 49-50. So at least in the pros, we're not dealing with 78 over-unders like we did last week. So the pros, if you like the game over, pretty much they're going over, 49 down to 43. And that just means a 24-20 game. Well, you're getting these games in the 30s, most of them. And with Baltimore, with Henry, they're just a runaway over, but only if the other team can get an over. If the other team is terrible, Cleveland, now we don't care. Deshaun Watson sucked. We'd rather have him playing. We know what we got. We know he's terrible. We're not really worried about Winston. And then it's the point spread, get it in before it gets too high. All right. So that's football. Let's go to gold. 27-22 and 33-78 silver. I don't know what they're counting. Silver should be over in the 34s. So I don't know how it's up 6 cents in the 33s. And then 27-22 for gold. Look for it to make its. See, the U.S. with their 10 o'clock derivatives, why are they still doing it? The demand for gold's through the roof. Why would you short gold going, it's going to go down? That's the first law of economics. If there's demand for a product, you have a price for it. So why would you be shorting going, I bet gold goes down? Is there no demand? Is there competition that is getting in the way? No. The other thing I keep hearing is Bitcoin. And I got to put this to bed already. Bitcoin is not money because it's not acceptable. I cannot go to Italy and pay for a hotel and a rental car and a water taxi and my restaurants with Bitcoin. Therefore, it is not money. It's not even like a stock. Stocks are companies. Coca-Cola, we can see they're going to make money. It's, I guess, it's like a baseball card. Is a Rolex money? No, but a Rolex has value. But you actually have the Rolex on your hand. You can wear the Rolex. You can't wear the Bitcoin. You can't touch the Bitcoin. It's all Madoff going on now. Only if somebody buys it does it go up. It's a Ponzi scheme. Oh, no. That's sacrilegious to say Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. It is what it is. It's not. It's digital. Anything digital is not real. It's bullshit. It can be manipulated, controlled by whoever's running it. So keep that in mind. If you really want to make an investment in a $60,000 thing, buy a Rolex. It's very limited. It's highly in demand. It'll be worth more than the Bitcoin will. Also keep in mind that the Bitcoin's priced in dollars. And when the dollar goes to zero, because these idiots keep printing and printing, because they're all Keynesians and they think you can keep printing and printing. When it goes to zero, what's the Bitcoin worth? Zero. The Rolex will go to zero, as your house, as your mantle card will all go to zero in dollars because this won't have a value. But what happens is then there's a new currency. There's a gold-backed currency. And then the Rolex and the house and everything gets repriced in the new currency. I mean, look at the Romans, right? Well, they used the Roman coins, the gold and silver back then, but now Italy's there. They use the euro now. They just switched their dollars, but it still works. So that's what the work is, the medium of exchange. So everything in dollars goes to zero, but it gets repriced in whatever the new currency is. And that's all that happens. It's not a big deal if you just have new currency, but it's got to be backed by gold. Well, the BRICS countries figure that out. The U.S. is still a little bit, we don't like gold because we can't, because we're all a bunch of crooks and we can't print our dollars. We can't print each other $1 billion and put it into the stock market and be corrupt and everything. We can't do that with gold. So we don't want gold because we can't, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. So therefore, that's what's happening. And you have to understand that. So Bitcoin, do not invest in Bitcoin. Do not think it's real money. It's not money. Nowhere can it be money because it's not accepted. All right. It's as much money as a Mantle card or a Rolex or a Picasso is money, and none of them are money. They're assets with value. I don't argue that, but they're not money because you can't use them. I can't go with the Mantle card and buy anything. I can go to Italy with my. No, maybe I could. Maybe I could have paid for the hotel with the Mantle card, but generally they're not. It's not money. It would be just trading an asset for some other value that you need. I got to pay $1,000 for the hotel room. Here's a Mantle card. Oh, okay, fine, I'll take it. Then they have to change the Mantle card into money, but basically that's what you have. And that's really what, oh, well, how about gold? Well, gold's money. It's money, but it's not being used right now. So you could get it accepted. I was at my barbecue place yesterday talking to my guy. He really doesn't seem to, he kind of gets it and he kind of doesn't. Oh, my buddy bought Bitcoin and only to sell it. He bought it at 61 and sold it at 69. Why don't I believe that? Who's stupid enough to buy it at 61 and then smart enough to sell it at 69? I go, well, what did he do with the money? Did he go buy gold with the money? Then I'll approve. If he didn't, then he's an idiot. But what if he would have bought $61,000 worth of gold? He'd have made more money with the gold, and the gold's going up. The Bitcoin's not. So it is not money. It's some sort of asset. It's not a stock. It's not gold. Don't for once in your life think of Bitcoin as gold. It's digital gold. No, it's digital crap. It's not anything. It has no value because it's the same reason. Why doesn't this have value? Because it's not backed by anything. This is just toilet paper. It's monopoly money. If it's not backed by gold, this has no value. Bitcoin is not backed by gold, really has no value, but the difference is it's not even paper. It's just digital. So it has no value. So people in Bitcoin, I just, please sell it for gold, and then you can bitch at me when gold hits 10,000 an ounce. Then you can say, "Oh yeah, good idea." Anyway, so that's about it. I just wanted to get that Bitcoin thing out because I think people are realizing the dollar is losing value, and they can see the de-dollarization, and they can see BRICS going to a gold-backed currency. So ask yourself, why isn't BRICS going to Bitcoin? Because it's not worth anything. And then if they're going to a gold-backed currency, why aren't you going into gold versus Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin's 60,000, gold's yeah, but if you've seen gold running and running and running, it's 27, 21. Do you realize it's manipulated by JP Morgan and COMEX, but it's about to be blown up, and Russia and China are going to put a big value on it. No, I didn't realize that. I just like Bitcoin because it's up to 60,000. It's basically everybody running out of the dollar. So your point should be get the fuck out of the dollar, get into gold, which you can't lose, and hopefully Bitcoin doesn't get wiped out when the dollar goes out. Maybe you'll have a value. But if you get the fuck out of Bitcoin now and get into gold, you'll be fine. Get out of your stocks and get out of the banks before they collapse. Oh, they won't collapse. It's the US. It won't go out. I remember the Romans. They wouldn't go out either. Oh, wait, the Romans did go out, didn't they? Yeah, I guess it could happen. And then the best is Les Miserables, like I was watching on the plane. So France went out in 1825. No, 1725. No, 1825. France was 17 to 1800. And the Miserables is set like 1825. So it's the hyperinflation that creates the Miserables, probably just before the dollar collapsed, because the government would not be doing anything, because if they're not getting paid, they're not shooting anybody. The government does not work i.e. the military, if they don't get paid. So that's what happens. You want to know what's going to happen? Just take a look at Les Miserables, and we'll all start singing songs and, dancing and whatever else. We won't go to the, whatchamacallit, the master of the house. So stay out of those hotels. And that's basically what you have is the dollar. You need the currency to be strong, and you don't have it. So what we're trying to do is replace the worthless dollar with something, and a lot of people are running to Bitcoin because they don't understand. Most people don't understand anything, so they're just, if somebody says something, they go, "Oh, that must be where to go." But if they don't give you the facts and the reasons, then it's stupid, and that's what they're doing. So they're not really helping you. All right, so don't buy your Bitcoin thinking it's worth anything. You want, go buy a fucking Rolex, Mantle card, 70, 80,000, PSA 9s, go buy them. They won't go down. They'll all go down in dollars, including Bitcoin. The difference is Bitcoin will never get priced in gold because nobody with gold would want it because then nobody knows what it is. Oh, it's limited to 21 million. Yeah. And they're not going to print anymore. Yeah. Bullshit. You don't even know who's running it. So you're out of your fucking mind. Go buy a Rolex. You know, they're limited. You know, the price, you know, they're going to go up because they're limited and nobody wants to wait a year for a new one. So the used market keeps going up. So if you want to blow 60 grand and you're not smart enough to buy gold because you don't trust it, go buy a Rolex or a Mantle card. That's simple as that. Hard to convince folks that have never been educated on subject. Well, that's why I try to use examples. And really, all you can do, it's like Noah with the ark, right? He's saying, "Hey, there's a big flood coming, and I'm building this ark, and I got all these animals in it, and you probably need to get in the ark before the flood happens." Of course, nobody believes him, and then the flood happens. And that's the problem with people. They don't know who to they don't know because they haven't been taught. They're not stupid, but they don't know who to listen to. And so therefore they're kind of going, well, do I, who do I, oh, this Michael Saylors seems to be very persuasive. I'll listen to him. He's in it for one reason, because he bought it cheap and he wants it to go up because so he can make money, not for you. It's a terrible investment for you. What I'm giving you are good investments for you. Go buy a Rolex, buy a Mantle card, go buy gold, silver. Buy silver now. It's going to go through the roof. Buy it. And that's what I just don't understand. People not getting it. Not being open-minded, just to think about it. Well, why, right? Well, why should I? Ask the question. I got an interview tomorrow, and one of my strengths is that I question things. Why is gold 2,000 an ounce? Why isn't it higher? And then you find out it's COMEX price fixing at JP Morgan. That's why it's not the real value, which is 10 times. It's 27.20, means it should be $27,000. And silver at 33.74 should be at least 3,374. They're at least 10 times undervalued, at least. The dollars collapse and you're pricing them in dollars. Let's just price them in gold, and then you'll really see. Well, if it was priced in gold, you'd go to the grocery store with 1 ounce of silver and you'd fill 2 baskets if you had, because everything would be dirt cheap, because the money not being printed never loses value. So if you kept it in gold and silver, the money would never lose value. Fruit Loops would always be 25 cents for the box. You'd never have any issues. Now, what do we say? Oh, the prices are going up. Oh, the evil Toyotas and GM. No. The prices are not going up. The dollar's dropping. And I saw something on LinkedIn on GM, and the lady running GM, who probably has her head up her ass, has no idea, says, "Oh, we had record earnings." And I go, "How the fuck do you have record earnings when you got interest rates through the roof?" I go to Toyota, they can't sell a car. Well, it was the EV. Nobody's buying EVs, lady. Stop with the bullshit. There's no way in a real, obviously it's fixed. Obviously she's getting kickbacks from the government to be profitable. It's all bullshit. There's no way car companies with high interest rate environments in an inflationary time, who the fuck's running out and buying a car, and how can it be profitable? Because your costs are through the roof. Oh well, the government's giving us subsidies. The government's giving us subsidies, so therefore we're not losing as much money because of the government. Oh, so but basically, GM would be broke if you didn't get government help, as you should, because you shouldn't get government help. That's bullshit. Anyway, but it's hard to convince people who have their mind made up if they actually know. Like you can't convince me. Like if my mind's made up to take Ohio State over Nebraska this week, yeah, it's hard to convince me to take Nebraska. But I know what the fuck I'm doing. But if I didn't know what I was doing, if we're talking tennis, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing there. Or depending on what we're talking about, I'm not an engineer. If you talked engineering, but I would know I don't know. And if you came with me with an engineering problem, I tell me I don't understand. I wouldn't just assume that because you're saying it, that's right. I would talk to other people. I'd get to the point where I understand it now, and that's the difference. So, um, again, I don't really try to convince people anymore. I did. Now it's more if somebody asks me, do you buy gold? Tell me about it. Then I try to help them. And then I just basically, if you're trying to convince somebody, it's the Titanic example is the one that works. The water's full and the boat's sinking into the Atlantic. It's 60% down. You probably need to get the lifeboat now. And that's really the point of it. People can realize that. They can go, oh, yeah, the Titanic, I heard of that. Yeah, it was unsinkable. Oh, wait, it did sink, didn't it? Or I bring up the Roman Empire because everybody knows the Roman Empire. You bring up Venezuela, probably not too many people know the hyperinflation there, even Greece or Zimbabwe. But if you go to the man, you go to the Romans, Caesar, everybody knows that story. But the Titanic works. I said, well, the dollar is the boat and the printing of the money is the iceberg, and it keeps printing and the boat's sinking. And you need your lifeboat. The only lifeboat is not Bitcoin, it's gold. That's how I really rationalize it to people. They get that, provided they want to listen to the Titanic, which most people already know everything, don't want to listen to it. Oh, no. I got my money in stocks. Well, like Luke's friend, I got 4 million in the 401k. I'm fine. But it's all monopoly money. Why don't you take 2 million of it and buy gold with it? Well, I'd have to pay taxes on it. Well, it's better than having nothing, isn't it? Oh, my God. Anyway, that's what happens. So that big class today. Any other questions or comments by anybody? Gold 27.20. So it got down to 27.11 and now back to 27.20 as the US tries their little derivative bullshit game. And 33.70 silver. Isn't it better knowing why the gold goes up and down because of derivatives, not because of market? Nobody is selling it. Isn't it better we can rationalize going, oh, they're just derivatives driving the price down? That's not the real price. That's why are we pricing it in derivatives? Why aren't we pricing it free market like every other fucking thing, like Coca-Cola or chocolate? You put it on the shelf. If somebody doesn't buy it, you lower the price. If they buy it, you raise it. That's all I see now. I go to the grocery store, Coke, two for $5. So it's $2.95 for a 2 liter, but I see two for $4. Buy two, get one free, which is really $2 a piece. Fritos, yeah, it's $5 that nobody wants to pay. So, well, what? Buy one, get one free. So if you buy 2 bags, it's $2.50 each. Well, that's the price it should be, right? So that's why you can't measure inflation with prices. And if you really see it, the prices are going down because nobody can afford them. So it's buy one get one free. So smart people go, oh, okay, I'll buy the second one. I get the discount, and then I have, Fritos for a week or whatever. Anyway, anything else? Don't buy Bitcoin. Don't think Bitcoin's money. It's not, because it's not accepted. Everybody accepts this. That's why it's money. Everybody doesn't accept gold and silver, but will, and some do take the gold or the silver. At my barbecue, he'll take silver. So keep that in mind, that what money is has to be accepted, and that's why Bitcoin is not money. It's nothing more than a baseball card. It's a collectible, but there really isn't a price on it. Mantle, right? There's a eBay thing. How is eBay even or eBay? How is Bitcoin even priced? You have no idea. Supply and demand based on what? Well, if somebody goes into their wallet and buys it, well, where's the 60,000 coming from? Nobody knows. It's all bullshit. You're dealing with Madoff. So if you want to fuck with Madoff, when it goes to zero, don't come to me crying. I'm telling you to sell it and get into gold and silver and watch it go up 10 times. And BRICS demand is the reason, and you can see what's happening in the meetings going on now. So I keep looking for some BRICS announced gold-backed currency, but I haven't seen it yet. But today's day 2. It was 22nd, 23rd, 24th. So by the end of the 24th, we should get more. Okay, let's recap it. Yeah, they did. I know they went out with the PayPal card, which is against SWIFT, so the countries can buy things directly from them and not have to worry about the SWIFT. But that's not the gold-backed currency, 40%. And it's coming, and they're all buying gold. So all the countries need gold to use the gold-backed currency. So that's coming, and then they're all getting out of the dollar. So when Trump, threatens them, well, I'm going to put a tariff on you, nobody's going to trade with you because you don't have, your dollar's worthless. Who the fuck wants to trade with the U.S.? So until the U.S. comes out with a gold-backed currency, it's worthless. So keep in mind, all these little countries with their little currencies, they're all worthless. Every country's worthless except for the ones backed by gold. And right now, that'd be Zimbabwe. All right. I'm going to have some lunch, go to the pool. Take winnings from Waken and buy silver and gold. Good talk. I always appreciate your insight. Thank you. Do you think they will print some type currency like our dollar? BRICS? Well, yeah, that's what they'll do. They'll just say, hey, this is backed by gold. Well, I don't know if they'll have one BRICS currency or each country has the BRICS gold-backed currency, but that's what they'll do. That's how we used to do it. Our current, you print the paper because it's easier. You can't all have gold in your pocket, right? So you make it convenient, which is the printed dollar, and they just say it's backed by gold. That's what Zimbabwe has done. I've shown you videos on that where they come out and it's a dollar, but it's a Zimbabwe, it's a ZiG. But yeah, I mean, this is well, it's like this. This is just the most convenient. This is the most convenient way, right? Is this, right? This goes in your pocket and you put it in the bank, you get paid with it. So it's very, what's the term? It's very portable. So you need it portable. You can't all walk around with ounces of gold and then how do we trade it? Well, we got to sell it. And, so that's why the dollar is the best method. It's got to be backed by something to be worth something. Go. Okay. Thank you. I will do that. And have a good day, everybody. Picks should be posted soon. Waiting on like Jalen Daniels' injury. If you hear he's playing, I'm playing Washington and a few others, but that's kind of where we're at. So like right now, I'm waiting on injuries because it's such a critical point of making the bet. Who am I got? Well, I know I got Frisco's receivers out, Tampa's receivers out. So where I might bet an over on Tampa, I can't. Like I would have bet Tampa, Atlanta over for sure, but I can't because I don't have receivers. Or we got to see how the backups play, and I'm sure they're good too. They really don't let you go. But okay, everybody, I'm gonna go eat, go to the pool, do my workout, take my hot tub. My cold's just about done, and I'm still a little bit tight. I got my interview tomorrow, so I don't know when I'm coming on tomorrow. I'll probably want to go to the pool at 10 o'clock, and my interviews, I believe, at 2. Let's see. I think it's 2 to 3. Yeah, it's 2 to 3 tomorrow. Now I've already met with the HR guy, so this is with the director of finance. His name is Marcelo Teodoro. So this should be interesting. It's an hour, so I'll try to be relaxed and confident, which I am usually. I got fooled on one where I thought I had the job, and then the guy's interview, I said, "Well, I can't wait to start," and I guess they didn't like that. I don't know. So this time I'm not anticipating I have the job. I think I do, but I'm not gonna overreact to it. But anyway, and one thing, if you have a lot of years on your resume, like you've worked for 20 years, don't walk job by job. Just sum it up. So I've worked at GM a few times and Ford a few times and Mercedes. So I just said, well, I've worked 5 years at GM and 5 years at Ford and 4 years at Mercedes. Instead of getting into each job, they're all financial and whatever. Then I just sum it up. This is me. I'm a finance guy and da 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 da. Sometimes I bring up gold, but I don't. Most people don't understand gold, so I try to not bring it up for fear that they won't like that I brought it. Well, why are you bringing up gold? And even though that's the only way to save your company. But anyway, so that's really what I got. So I don't know. I'll probably go to the pool at 10 o'clock. So I might come on after the interview, probably. Anyway, we'll see. But big interview. All right. Have a nice day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Sign up for the week, the month, the year, your choice. The classes, Friday night, 7 to 8, college, and 8 to 8:30 for the pros. We don't need as much time on the pros. And that's Friday nights. So sign up. I'll do a private chat here and just like this. All right, everybody. Have a good day. I'm going to go check out Bricks, see if they've announced it yet, and we'll go from there. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Relax. Get out of Bitcoin.